murderer turned cannibal. The name of someone you may not know now, but will soon find out has committed the most heinous and evil crimes imaginable. July 2014, Mr. Oberhansley stabbed, raped, and proceeded to eat the organs of his girlfriend Tammy Jo Blanton. It began with a break-in, following Joseph stabbing his girlfriend multiple times, then raping her, and finally eating parts of her brain, heart, and lungs. Found at the murder scene was a pan and spatula on the stove, along with a plate covered in blood with bone remains left on the dish. So, Mr. Oberhansley, tell us, what made you commit such a horrid crime?
Anger.
How does anger lead to such horrid acts?
I've done worse things, and I've been more upset. It fills me with rage.
You're speaking of the shooting of your girlfriend and mother, correct?
It's about the adrenaline rush that you get when you're angry, that forces you to do things that you might not do when you're in distress, but you shouldn't do.
When Mr. Oberhansley was just 17, he experienced the death of his father and brother. His father dying from an overdose on drugs and his brother tragically committing suicide. Friends and family of Joseph report that he was a changed man after these incidents. He turned to drug addiction and aggressive behavior. Not much later, Mr. Oberhansley was arrested for the first time after shooting his mother and girlfriend just 5 days after she had birthed his son. Crime reports give the story that Joseph was enraged in jealousy and the thought that the baby was not his, so he fired multiple shots into his girlfriend, killing her, and only seriously injuring his mother. After the shooting, Joseph took the gun under his chin and pulled the trigger, firing a bullet directly into the frontal lobe of his brain. After Joseph woke up from a 3-day coma, he was charged with murder, later being changed to a manslaughter charge after accepting a plea bargain. Why'd you pull the trigger on your girlfriend?
She deserved it. She had another baby with she had a baby with a man. What do you expect? What do you expect me to do in that scenario?
Why'd you keep shooting even when your mother came between her and your gun?
To me, it showed she was on her side. That was a chance for her to pick a side, and at that point, she chose, and she has to deal with it now.
Did you not seek help?
Drugs is where I reached out to. Nobody around me felt the way I did. I felt like I was alone, had nowhere else to go.
Joseph Oberhansley's crime was significant enough that his name is now getting talked about in the science community, specifically the criminology community, to explain his wretched behavior. The psychosocial perspective of criminology sees that his temperament and personality are different than a logical human being. Psychosocial criminologists state that his logic would have to be different in order to commit such a crime in the first place. The psychosocial stance says that Oberhansley has impulsive behaviors, meaning he does not think of consequences before he acts. The approach also says that Oberhansley lacks empathy, guilt, or remorse, officially labeling him a psychopath. The psychosocial criminologists diagnose him with antisocial personality disorder, which puts him in a category with the most dangerous criminals in history. So, Mr. Oberhansley, I'm going to introduce to you some ideas of what people are saying about you, as your gruesome killing has become so popular. Firstly, people are calling you a psychopath, one who lacks empathy, shame, or guilt. They say you fit the perfect description of a psychopath. How does that make you feel?
The question, Mr. Phlegar, is how does it make you feel? Knowing that you could be sitting in front of a sociopath right now, knowing that I could kill you and feel absolutely no remorse at this moment. That I could walk away, you, a dead human being, me living, knowing what I did and living with that decision every day for the rest of my life, and not even thinking twice about it. at the end of the day, I'm special, and that makes me one of a kind.
The feminist criminologists are also interested in Joseph Oberhansley's case because he is a male and both of his horrible crimes have been committed against women. The most relevant theory in feminist criminology that the professionals are relating to this specific case is the biosocial feminist theory. The modern state of biosocial feminist theory states that men are more susceptible to antisocial behavior than women. Studies for this theory have found that women are universally more empathetic than men, with some reasoning going back to the difference of male and female hormones. To biosocial feminists, empathy for others and the fear of being prosecuted are the two leading factors that prevent crime. Joseph Oberhansley obviously did not possess either of these two feelings when he stabbed and ate his girlfriend, which corresponds him back to the biosocial feminist theory. Some feminist criminologists are relating your case to biosocial feminist theory, explaining that this could have been predicted because men are more vulnerable to various traits associated with antisocial behaviors. Do you believe that your gender has anything to do with the crime or severity of the crime?
Gender has nothing to do with this, with the severity of this crime. I mean, anybody that has gone through what I went through at such a young age can understand why somebody will be pushed to the edge and do the things that I've done. You know, losing my family members at such a young age, being addicted to drugs, using that as my gate because nobody was there for me. I had nobody. At the end of the day, my back was against the wall. And then rotting away in 12 years, you know, having to figure that out and wake up every day not knowing what's going to happen to me. You know, that's enough just to put you through the edge. The last school of criminology that has shown interest in Joseph Oberhansley's case is the school of biological positivism. The modern theory of biological positivism sets criminals into two categories: the insane criminal and the criminaloid. The insane criminal resembles somebody who has had an alteration of the brain, throwing off their moral nature. Biological positivists say that because of Oberhansley's gunshot to the head, his morals were knocked off balance. Biological positivism also consists of criminaloids, which make up a few different parts of criminals: habitual, juridical, and passionate. Biological positivists say Joseph Oberhansley fits the description perfectly of a passionate criminal, one with anger problems who commits impulsive, violent acts when provoked. One last perception of you, Mr. Oberhansley, that we'll speak of today. Some biological positivists explain your behavior by calling you an insane criminal, or one whose alternation of the brain, which they explain to be your gunshot to the head, causes a complete upset of moral nature. Would you consider yourself an insane criminal, Mr. Oberhansley? That makes the most sense to me. I remember feeling and acting different before the incidents when I was 17. You know, I felt like I was a pretty normal kid up until that time. Maybe my moral nature did get completely upset. Either way, if that is the explanation for what I have done, it does not excuse it or reverse it. For the 12 years Joseph Oberhansley spent in jail after the shooting of his girlfriend when he was 17, he wrote to his son frequently, letters of admiration, telling him he would take care of him when he was out of jail. This behavior throws off many of the criminologists, as it displays empathy and love. Do you wish to see your son, Mr. Oberhansley? Oh, every day. Every day I wish I could see baby Joe. He's the only thing that's on my mind, and you know, hopefully I can see him one day. It'd be awesome. Joseph Oberhansley just recently got sentenced to life in prison without parole for his 2014 crime of stabbing and eating his girlfriend. Oberhansley was a great case study for criminologists in all fields that allowed science to understand the reasoning behind how and why individuals commit such horrid crimes.